It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Humanity Junction. My name is Heath, and tonight we're going to be looking at a photography trick that I learned from Thomas Splitrock. Or I should at least say he gave me the inspiration to actually give it a try, and it surprised me how well it worked, how easy it was. I thought it was definitely going to be much more difficult to implement, so I thought why not share it with everybody, because it's really a lot of fun, and I think I already said that. Anyway, let's just see who's here, say hello, and we'll get moving along. If you haven't commented in a while, post a comment so I can see your name pop up, and we'll go from there. How are you further east than I am, and you didn't stop by and say hello? Top of the list tonight, we got Mr. Boxcar Jerry in the house. Cameron from Caboose 121 is here. Brad Anderson coming in from Australia and the Gerard Division Model Railroad. We have Charlie's Train Depot, Roy Hardwick, Containerman 68 is here. Don Heads in the house. JD Grandpa Rails, John Benicki, John 2618, also known as RailServe John, is here. Ian from the Lehigh River Subdivision. David Atkins coming in from a break from dinner. Greg from Midsummer Railway N Scale. Andrew, Mr. Victoven, Nathan DeLay is here. Norman Miller, or Norm Miller. We got Dennis from Otter Creek and Rio Grande. Pete Soretta's in the house. Rayron VR, the Ice Dragon, Ron Moen, Roy Eltham, Thomas Grassi, and last but not least, who is usually our first person here and usually doing our countdown, and I heard he's getting some cookies, so that's really good. So, well, you know, Bill popped up, usually New Fenris, but he's been coming in as William Sullivan lately, so he just took over Wigwag's bottom spot on the list. But we got My Finger Lakes railway layout coming in. Lauren Hurwitz is here as well. Eddie Pappert joining us. Eddie, we haven't seen you in a little while. Taking over the top spot from Boxcar Jerry is Allegheny and Shenango Railroad. I probably just completely butchered that. Well, thank you everybody so much for being here. I am looking at my screens tonight, and I know those of you that know my setup are going to think this next comment is pretty crazy, but I need more screen real estate. I have got so much stuff packed in to such a small spot. We'll see if I can actually get through everything tonight. Before we get into things, I've had a couple people that have asked to sort of announce some things, so I put together kind of an events list. So I'm not stealing Tom's thing from Tom's Trains and Things, but I thought I would do kind of my own little version of it, and we'll go from there. Mr. Piktovid chipping in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, sir. We have people saying no more screens. All the space that's left is for trains. More cameras, more screens, and more trains. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Anyway, so some events. This Thursday, I've got a new video dropping. It is an edit of my eventful live stream from Sunday. You can be the judge. I think it might come across as a blooper video. Maybe. We'll see. It's one of those videos that probably should have been about 3 minutes long, but by the time you get to the 5-minute mark, you kind of can't believe that it's still going on. And then you get to about the 7 or 8 minute mark, and then you start questioning reality. So you'll see Thursday morning, 9:15, give it a look. This Sunday, I get to go back and do my second operating session at the DNS. I am really looking forward to that because that railroad actually runs much better than mine does. Tuesday, next Tuesday, a week from tonight, I will be down in Atlanta for work. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I am going to be streaming from Atlanta. Hopefully it's going to be working. We'll find out. January 28th and 29th, I'll be at the Amherst Model Railroad Show. And then on February, at the Amherst Model Railroad Show on Sunday at noon. I think that's what we decided. We're going to all meet at the Mini Prince booth and just say hello, a informal little meet and greet get together. And Bernard has volunteered. He knew what he was getting into. We did it at Timonium. We're doing it again at Amherst. So come on by and check that out. February 11th, the NMRA Sunrise Trail Division, which is my division, is doing a winter meet, and I will be doing my remote ops clinic again. I think if you want to, you can probably check it out via Zoom if you go to the Sunrise Trail Division website and sign up to get on their email list. They do some really great clinics. Pretty much every Wednesday night they do some sort of Zoom clinic, and a lot of them are really interesting. So maybe check out what my division is up to. Bernard from Mini Print says he's a glutton for punishment, and he was just on what podcast were you just on? A Modeler's Life podcast, and he talked a little bit about his Amherst schedule. I don't know that I'd want that schedule, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. Next on the list, March 11th, Nathan DeLay is going to do a meet and greet up at Northlands. So if you're in the area, that's in Flemington, New Jersey. So try and check that out. John says there's a train show this weekend in Columbus, Ohio, on April 29th and 30th. This one is tentative. They're throwing it out there to see what kind of interest there is in it. But Robert from Flying Crow and Wilmer from Indian Head Model Railroad are going to do a little get-together over at the Timonium train show down in Timonium, Maryland. So it looks like Ray is going to be there as one of the people, so you'll get to see Robert, Wilmer, and Ray. So if people are interested, check in with those guys, check in with me, let us know if you think that's something worth doing. Robert would be coming up from Texas, making the long trip. And then May 19th through 21st is the YouTube meet and greet in Greeley, Colorado. It'll be around the Colorado Model Railroad Museum. Michelle Kempema is helping to organize, coming up with a great list of events for that. And if you are in the NMRA, actually, I don't know if you need to be in the NMRA to go to the national convention. Probably should have looked that up. But what is that? August 21st to 26th is the NMRA National Convention down in Grapevine, Texas, which is outside of Dallas, Fort Worth. And then back in my neighborhood, in my area, not in my neighborhood, but in my area, the Northeast Regional Convention is being hosted by the Sunrise Trail Division. So my division is hosting it. So we're doing it out on Long Island. It's the big Northeast Region Convention. So it should be pretty interesting. Looks like Ray's also going to be at Timonium on October 14th and 15th, March 4th and 5th at the Bakersfield. Again, the one and only High Desert Modular Model Railroad Club. Cameron from Caboose 121 is waiting for the Greeley shirt to ship. If you go to Sparky 107's Teespring store, he's going to do, if you go to Sparky 107's Teespring store, you can buy a t-shirt for the Greeley meet and greet. Brad's asking about NMRA X. They do them, I think, quarterly these days right now. Brad knows a guy that can get me in there. Brad, reach out to me. We can talk about it a little bit. February 18th and 19th, the Great Train Show at Ventura Fairgrounds with yours truly. It's all about the High Desert Modular Model Railroad Club. It took me a long time to be able to say that easily, but I think I'm getting there now. I'm getting it there. Ray says not making Colorado or Strasburg this year due to family commitments. And that's it. I'm not sure what of these on the list I'm going to. I will be all of the events up until February 11th. And then after that, I have not figured it out. Oh, the NMRA X is this weekend. There you go. This weekend's the 14th and 15th. So that's on the NMRA org YouTube channel. Exactly. There you go. Uh-oh. Roy and John might be meeting up in a parking lot behind a McDonald's. We're just gonna leave that as it is and go on from there. So before we get into the photography stuff, I do want to play my thank you video. I updated it today, so if you're on the list, you should see your name if I hadn't screwed it up. But I do need to thank everybody that supports the channel, both as members, either here on YouTube or on Patreon, as well as the companies that sponsor the channel, like Mini Prints, who's doing another peanut butter lid competition for Valentine's Day. We've got PTF Designs, which are the background flats. They're going to make up my background for today's photo shoot. And we've got Iron Planet Hobbies, which has been hugely helpful to my channel, but also offers a really fantastic discount. And is just all of my corporate sponsors are sponsors because the people that run the companies are just really great and really supportive of what we do and of the hobby.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
And as David Atkins is calling me out, yes, watching is support. There are a ton of ways to support that don't cost anything. I don't put any of my content behind paywalls. You can come join my Discord and hang out and chat. And I find that's just a huge support in growing the community. Here on YouTube, I've got Facebook pages where people share information, and it's just being a part of the community is a big support. So yeah, you don't have to buy anything, but the people that do, very grateful as well. And if you share the channel if anything's interesting, and let's start taking some photos. So I've done a little bit of photography in my life. I've never felt that I was very good at it. I'm especially not big on a lot of the software like Photoshop and that sort of stuff. So when I first tried photo stacking, it was many, many years ago, and that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about photo stacking. We're talking about how to use some software to make your photos crisper, sharper, or whatever. So here's just an example, right? So this is a picture that I just took. I took it with my iPhone. You can see the Powered by the People logo on the front is nice and sharp, but everything gets very blurry as it goes back from there. And being that we have models, getting a nice sharp shot of it is not the easiest thing. But focus stacking's gotten easier. When I first started doing focus stacking, it was a much more arduous process. There wasn't as many opportunities to do it easily, and I have very limited cameras here. I was just waiting to see if anybody was paying attention. I've got about 600 cameras here, but I'm going to use my iPhone for today. We're gonna do this as much as possible with things that people just have around. I do also have this little tiny tripod that we're going to use, and I got this because I wanted to be able to get some low down shots and stuff like that. But this stream tonight and what I'm working on was inspired a bit by this cover right here. If you don't know, Split Rock Mining is Thomas Gager of the Twin Cities division, also known on YouTube as Split Rock, and he kind of recommended I give it a try. So got the little tripod. We'll get to this. We'll use the iPhone, and we'll see how it goes. I've got a little setup back here, and what I've got, and I know it's a little dark right now, but we're going to get to the lighting. We're going to add some lighting. But I've got my 4404, which is the Essential Workers locomotive. Behind that, I've got a 911 Norfolk Southern gondola, and then I've got the first responders fire department car. I've got the first responders EMT car, and then behind that we've got the Great Northern Fire Prevention Instruction car. And we're gonna take a little bit of a journey, kind of lighting this, going through the software, figuring it all out, and going from there. Otter Creek, the white balance is a little off because the lights are blue. The lights are actually blue. I do actually like photography. It's something fun. For me, photography is a way to see the world from a different perspective and to frame the world in a different way. You get to control what is in the frame and what is out of the frame. And that's really where, in my opinion, photography kind of gets interesting. So we've got this look right now. I could just, take a picture with this camera and, you know, be good and send it off and, you know, post it on Facebook, and I'd get, you know, people would cheer and stuff like that, and it would all be really fancy. But first thing we're gonna look at is just adding a little bit of front light, and that should help a little bit. It's not really that bright, and I'm lighting this up. I'm not really lighting the scene up, so that's not working so well. The blue lights that I have on right now, I'm answering this question here. The blue lights that I have up there are actually two different strips of lighting. One is from Elgato and one is from GoV. Derek, we are not doing switching. If you want to see some switching, go to Sunday's video or wait for Thursday's video, because that was an adventure. So I've got another one of these little lights. This light that I'm using is from Newer. Am I on the right camera? Yeah. This is from Newer, and it's this little light, and it'll do different colors and different effects and different stuff. But we're just setting it on white. I could just put the light on the front and take a picture and be all good, but I'm gonna do something a little different. Yeah, these are, I now have two of these lights. I put them on top of the iPads, and I think they give a nice little bit of additional light. See, a lot of people at some point have done various photography or photography related things, and it's cool. I really enjoy it. I have a good time. Yeah, Derek, if you saw Sunday, you'd know that I'm still recovering from Sunday. So I'm actually going to take this light and I'm actually going to move it over to the side here. Just gives a different look. But things are still not. This angle's kind of terrible, right? I mean, we're definitely up too high. So what I am going to do, and we're gonna see how well this works tonight. I am going to attempt to be taking photos on my iPhone, transferring them to my computer, and bringing them up on the computer. Theoretically, this is going to work. We'll find out. I'm using an app that's actually called Camera Pixels. Let's see if I do this. It's this right here, Camera Pixels. It's an iPhone app. I'm going to guess there's an Android. There's not a version of Camera Pixels for Android, but there's probably another Android app. You want an app that can do focus stacking. So the app itself is going to do the photo stacking for me. But before we get into that, let's actually just go back here and let's just see. I'm just going to use the regular camera, the regular iPhone camera, and we're just gonna take a picture, and hopefully it'll transfer. Let's see if it transfers. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take to transfer. I may have to do some of these transfers manually, but I'm kind of hoping it's just going to work. And, you know, you live a little, you learn a little, and it's not coming up yet. What I'm using is Apple's iCloud transfer, and I don't know how quick it is. So there are faster ways. There are definitely faster ways, but you know, why should we do this the easy way? Why not do this the complicated way? I think I might give up on this method in a second and just transfer it manually. So that lasted all of about 30 seconds. So let's just I'm going to just transfer this manually, if I can get it to cooperate with me. Here we go. Maybe I'll get lucky and I'll talk enough that other things will transfer, and we'll get it to work eventually. If not, you know, if not, we'll see. It'll be fun. So let's, oh, there we go. It finally transferred. Where's it going to open it? There we go. All right, so it takes a little while to transfer. You know, you live a little, you learn a little. Okay, so this was my first picture that I just took, and this is just the regular old iPhone camera. You can see some of the background flats over here in focus. You can see the front of this is in focus, but all the lights on the side, and everything kind of just blurs out and is just, it's all over just a blurry mess. We're gonna leave the blue lights on, and you'll see why. You'll see why. We prefer the heat wave, far more entertaining. Yeah. I could use a flash. I'm using my iPhone, and we're gonna do it without the flash just because I'm trying to get the details of the locomotive. That's my goal. Ultimately, we're taking pictures so that you can see the details of the model. So we're gonna try that. So that photo is not great. Let's just take another photo, but what I'm gonna do this time to take another photo is, so right now my camera is this way and the lens is up high, right? So that means I'm kind of shooting down. I'm actually gonna flip the camera over so the lens is on the bottom. And the reason I'm doing that is to get the lens much closer to the ground. So, get a little bit more of a shot lined up along the bottom. So Jim, I would argue that's not true. I am going to, we could, right? Like I could pull this camera out, and we could, do the photos with this. But the reality is, you don't need this. You get more control with this, but you don't necessarily need this. And we're gonna work through this photo a little bit, and we'll get to a good place, hopefully, and we'll go from there. It's not magic. I mean, that's the thing about photography. Photography, while it is an art, there's a lot of technical pieces and parts to it, and I think that's one of the hard things. And it's just like the railroad, right? There's a certain art to model railroading, and there's a certain technique to it as well. So I'm going to start hitting refresh about 600 times, see how long it takes for this new photo to load. I don't know if I need to, you know what I just realized? What I might need to do is I might need to go into the photo app. And maybe when I go into the photo app, that's when it syncs the items to iCloud. So maybe that's what happened. And I don't know why it's saying that it's syncing. You can see, let's see. If I go here, nope. Oh yeah, there we go. You can see on the bottom here, it says syncing 2 items to iCloud. I don't know why it's syncing 2 items to iCloud. There aren't 2 items, but we'll see. Here we go. All right. So now let's take a look. Nope. There we go. So we got two pictures now. We've got this picture taken high up that looks kind of, kind of down on it. It's, it's whatever. It's an okay photo. But I flipped the camera over, so now we're shooting low down. We're shooting a little bit more to the side of it. The way the light's hitting the car, you can see a little bit more of the detail. But it very quickly gets out of focus. So that's kind of a problem. It's not a problem. If this is what you want, if you want to have just like this, 4404 in focus here at the beginning, that's great. But, if you want to be able to get a little bit more focus into the back of it, this doesn't quite work. But one thing we can do is we can, let's see, let's go back here. One thing we can do is you can zoom in. I'm not going to get into depth of field. You can read about depth of field. DOF, D-E-P-T-H of field, is basically what we're dealing with here with what's called the focus point. So the depth of field is very shallow, and there are ways of increasing that. So we're gonna get to the point where we're increasing it in software, but really quickly I'm gonna show you one way to do it not in software. And the way to not do it in software is you zoom in. And when you zoom in, you're using a narrower focal length, and then you just back up. So I'm backing farther away, but I'm still able to kind of stay close up. So I'm trying to get a similar shot to what I had before, so you can see that. But one of the things that the narrower focus does is it definitely changes your perspective. So it might not be what you want, but it's what it is. So we're gonna sync this next photo. So then this next photo is zoomed in. So we should get a different photo, but with more depth of field. So yeah, the old cameras, man, that was a lot of fun. But yeah. So some smartphones will do it in camera. The reason we're not doing it in camera is because I'm trying to get a very high resolution photo that's got a lot of detail to it. So it does seem like the trick is I need to open the program, open the photo program. So, oops. I don't know what what command I just did. So here's, and of course I didn't get the framing exactly the same, but here's that photo that I took before with the zoom just set at, at nothing or whatever, at 1 on the iPhone. I don't really know what it's called, but with the not zoomed in, that's this photo. And you can see how quickly it gets blurry, right? I mean, we're blurry before we even get off the back of the locomotive. So I pulled back a bit, and not exactly the same shot, but you can see now there's a lot more in focus, right? I mean, we're getting a little bit further, but I had to zoom in and pull back to get that, and that creates, if you look. So this photo is a much wider photo, like you see a lot more width-wise, and this one is, you can see, much more narrow. So the next thing we'll do is we'll go into the Camera Pixels app. So let's go here to this Camera Pixels app, And I've already set up a preset for this. So I'm going to go to my preset, focus stack, small. I'm going to be shooting in JPEG. I'm going to be shooting 15 photos at different focus things. I'll show you that as we go. But we're going to do this all just with an iPhone. We're not zooming in. We're going to leave it. Am I on the right camera? I am not on the right camera. I'm like talking through stuff. Nobody can see. So we're at 1x, so we're not zoomed in at all. We're using auto white balance, auto ISO, everything. JPEG is what I'm using now. When I do this, when I made the cover photo, or not the cover photo, when I made the thumbnail for this stream, I made the thumbnail using DNG, so RAW. So I'm shooting in RAW on my iPhone. So I've got it set up. You can see right here. So we got a 16:9 crop. I'm using a much smaller resolution just because I have stabilization on. Image count is 15. I'm leaving this minimum distance 0, maximum distance 10. You can change that to get better resolution and stuff like that, but I don't think you need to. I think it's fine the way it is. So I'm going to rotate the camera. My lens is still to the bottom. We're going to get up a little bit close to the camera, or to the train. And what I'm looking at right now, and I'm just going to see if you guys can see this. I don't know how well you can see it, but right here in the bottom it says AF on it. I think you can maybe see that. Right there it says AF. And right now it says 62. As I get closer to things, that number drops. I can't have that number drop past 0. If that number drops past 0, it won't be able to focus on my my close-up object. And of course I'm having loose tripod issues, so let me just turn this a little bit here. So I like to get as close as possible. I'm going to click on over here just to make sure that I'm focusing nice and sharp on the front of that locomotive there. So in my framing, I've got the front of the locomotive just about at the edge, and then as it goes back, you can see the train sort of trails off. I'm trying to level this a little bit, make it nice and level. And so that's the photo I'm looking at. So I've got the delay on it set, so when I hit the button and stop, it'll wait 3 seconds before it takes the first photo. And I do that so that if I do input any like shakiness to it, it has time to settle down. And then you'll see it go through and it'll take 15 shots. So let's kind of watch what happens. And I don't know how well, let's see. Let's see if I can do this. All right. Let me tip up just a tiny bit. Tip up just a tiny bit. Yeah, the LEDs from the street lights I like. In one of the photos on this photo on my screen right now, I don't know if you guys can see it, but you can actually see right through the windows. This is an N-scale locomotive. You can actually see in this photo, taken with an iPhone. Yes, I'm way zoomed in, but you can actually see through the windows and see the brick building behind it. So you can get some pretty good shots. Okay, so I'm gonna hit the button now, And, you know, I do actually want to, I'm going to move this forward a little bit here, get more light on, I'm getting more light on the locomotive, less on the back. I don't want the light reflecting too much off the white stuff back there. So I just realized I didn't shift. Okay. So that's a shot. I'm going to hit the button. You'll see what the camera does, and we'll see what to do next. It's not quite, I can't tell. It doesn't look, sometimes I'm a little, okay, let's just do that. This is not for perfection. So 3, 2, 1. So you can kind of see it shifting focus as it went and as it finished. And nothing's derailed yet except for this show. So that was the 15 photos. You saw how quickly they took. And now I am going to go into the photo app, and now we've got 15 photos. Oh, did it really just sync all those that quickly? Wow, all of those photos just came in here just that quickly. So let me, how do I want to do this? So let's just look at, here. I'll figure this out eventually. The app that I'm using is called Camera Pixels. So here's one of the photos. Yeah, and I've got the problem I don't like. You see how the locomotive's leaning? Oh, you guys can't see. You see how the locomotive's leaning back? I don't like that. That bothers me. I'm not gonna use these photos. I'm gonna take another picture of it. But yeah, if you go into the description of this video, I have the link for the iPhone app in it. Yeah, so yep, it changes focus on all 15 pictures. And I am just really anal, and I hated the way that photo came out. So I am just not gonna use it because yeah, see, I almost kind of want this a little bit further down, the physical phone a little bit further down is almost what I kind of want, but we're gonna make it work. Am I on the right screen? Yeah, so I'm on this, yeah, okay. I'm on the right camera. Let's do this again. So, yep, watch it, yeah, so let's get a little closer. So now I'm putting the very front of the engine right at the very front. And now we're just gonna take 15 photos. You can see it counting down. And we're gonna do this again just because, yeah, so this app does it all on its own, which I really like. So it's all great. All right, I know people have their favorites of Android and iPhone. This isn't a debate about that, so we don't need to debate that. This is about taking pictures. Any phone that you have that can take pictures is better than not having anything at all. So use whatever you got. Like, if you've got, the best camera is the camera that you have. That's just a fact. That's just, there's no other facts about it. So this is GIMP. Right now I'm going to go and open Helicon Focus. It's Helicon Focus. This is version 8.2.0, and this is the software that we're going to use to make my life easy. There is, I think, a 14 14-day trial that, you know, you can try this out. Derek, the depth of field stuff works. There is no focus stacking for video though. So this only works with photos. So Joey, Joey might know this software, but this is Helicon Focus, and we're gonna kind of show how easy this is. So first thing I need to do is load up all of the photos, and it's bringing them all in right now, and I still hate the framing. Well, we'll keep moving forward. So you can see this first photo. If you look down here below my mug, you can see that the stairs at the very front are really in focus. The 4 and maybe the second 4 are in focus, but after that, it's all just a blur. But if you go down to the next photo, it's just the focus is just moving back a little bit more. So now you see the thank you is in focus. We go back a little further. Now the locomotive's completely out of focus, but now I've got these cars in the background in focus. And what I'm looking for here is, because I shot from 0 to 100, at some point I'm going to get to a photo where, so if you see right now, these cars are in focus, but the background is not in focus here. If I go one more now, the background is in focus and the cars are starting to get out of focus. So I'm going to uncheck these bottom 4, because these bottom 4 are not going to help. Now, this is where the magic happens, and I think this is really cool. All I'm going to hit, default everything, not doing, nothing, no settings, not doing anything. All I'm hitting is the render button, and just that quickly. That's it. That was the whole kit and caboodle right there. It now went from all these out of focus pictures, and you can see the example on the left, or you can almost see the example on the left, but let's just, here's the example on the left, right? So here are the red cars in focus, but everything else is out of focus. Now on the right, everything's in focus. And all I do is I come here and I hit save. I save it somewhere. This is as good of a place as any. And I don't know why it didn't pop up in here. Oh, is that it? There it is. And now I just open that in whatever video editing software I want. And it should have opened. There it is. So what I don't like about this photo is that the locomotive looks like it's tipping back and everything. But there are apps that do it. I don't think there are apps that do it quite as well as doing it on the computer. The phone's only got so much processing power, and the way the computer analyzes it is a lot better. Yeah, so what Thomas did in his magazine article is some of the photos, the background is not real. He put the background in later, and I don't have. I'm not going to deal with putting in backgrounds or any of that sort of stuff, but yeah. So that's essentially it. So I'm gonna this photo's bothering me. I'm gonna try one more time to take a better photo, because I don't like what it's doing. I'm not happy. Not happy with the photo. So I'm gonna take it off the stand, and I'm just gonna use the stand to kind of lean it against it, just so that I can get it a little bit lower, because I want a little bit of an upward angle on the locomotive. Oh, and I just realized I should switch cameras. Hold on. I want an upward angle on the camera, not a downward angle on the camera. And the reason I want the upward angle is because even though it's a model, I want to give it some sense of size, is what I'm doing. So right now, the iPhone is sitting on the tracks and it's tipped back a little bit, which I think is just giving it a much better look. But the problem is I'm trying to focus on the front edge of the locomotive, and I'm beyond that zero. Remember I said about the zero on the autofocus? You can see the autofocus is at 0. So what that means is it is not able to focus on the front of the locomotive. So I'm moving it back a little bit until I can get it to focus on that very front edge of the locomotive is what I'm trying to get it to focus on. And I'm not sure why it's struggling so much right now. But of course, now I need a piece of track to balance this. Okay, there we go. Let's see if I can get down here. Oh, yeah. So the nose is probably going to be slightly out of focus, but we're gonna try this. We'll see how it looks. So I'm just kind of doing this one quickly, just so that we can all just take a look at it. It doesn't need to take a lot of time. It can be pretty quick. We're syncing everything over to iCloud. I am going to go over here and share the display. Yeah, I could do that too. I'm trying to keep the perspective the same and not change the perspective just for the sake of this this exercise, essentially. So we're going to go here. We're going to remove all of these photos. Remove all images. Yes. We're going to start over again. We're going to take the photos I just took, and we're just going to drag them in. They're going to load them up real quick. It still looks like it's tipped back a little bit, but anyway. Let's just go through, find where the one is in focus to the back. I'm looking at the. I'm just trying to see how far back I want things in focus. So let's get rid of these bottom 4 again, just because I think they're a little bit too far out. And just again, easy peasy, hit the render button, boom, just like that. I've got a, so let's see if I bring this up here so you can see it a little better. Hopefully you can see that a little better. So you can see this one is just focused on the front. This one's focused all the way back. You can just save it real quick. And lickety split. I'm waiting for it to load. This should be it. Open it in GIMP. Yeah, no, I get you. I get it. But here's that finished photo. So, you know, here's the first one we did. Here's the second one we did. It looks a little bit better. I can open up just so you can see it. Let's do this as well. So this is the first photo in the series, and this is the other photo. So this is a single shot, and that's with it photo stacked. And you can see everything in focus all the way back. So, yep. I think this is the full screen you were looking for, right, Norman? There, it's a little bigger. So the one photo, and let's just look, here's like here's another photo. Shift Option J. So here's another photo. So like the thank you and heading into this first car, you can see the focus is kind of here in the middle, but everything up here is out of focus. You can see the building's in focus, but like this building's not. So, you know, my focus point is kind of on this plane here, kind of on that diagonal plane there, keeping that in focus. And if we go back to this one, you can see it keeps everything in focus. Bernard, if you've ever thought about trying it, do it. You can do this. Russ, this is exactly Helicon Focus doing this. Yeah, I mean, it works great with an iPhone app. It works even better with a, well, I don't know that it works better. It works differently. You can do different things. I actually have, the thing I want to get into is this right here is what's called the macro lens. So I want to, the problem with macro lenses is the depth of field is extremely narrow, especially when you're trying to shoot this kind of stuff. So what I want to do is get this guy on the camera and start taking photos with this and using Helicon Focus so that I can get, you know, really in there. And I did this with really small. I did this with really small photos. I didn't do this, normally when I do it, I'm doing it with DNG RAW. These I'm just doing with JPEGs. The final photo here, this one we're looking at right now, is 5 megabytes, which is pretty small, all things considered. I can, here, so if we want to go back, here's the photo. Just to do it real quick, this is remove all images. Let's see, 8:39 a.m. This is the photo. Oh, they didn't all remove. Yes. This is the photo from this morning. These are all raw images right now, taken from, these are raw images taken from the iPhone. So these are iPhone images. They're loading in a little bit slower. You can see things take a little bit slower. Yes, so the app I'm using is Camera Pixels. That's the app that I use to take the photo that's on here right now. That's the app I've been using the whole night, is Camera Pixels. Very simple to use. I can walk you through it in a second. So I have Helicon Pro. The reason I got Helicon Pro is because I want to be able to hook. You need Pro to hook your computer up to your camera and have the computer control the camera. So I got Pro. If you're not going to hook your computer up to your camera, just get the light version. But just try the other one. Just try the free one first. So the iPhone app, as I said, is Camera Pixels. But yeah, now put your iPhone on a flat car. Yeah. So here's this one. Let's just do this one really quickly. So I am just going to look for, and I'm doing this just to sort of see how big the photo is. So I'm kind of finding the last photo again. You can see now these box cars in the back here are in focus. You can also see, because I'm shooting in RAW, it's a 4:3 image, not a 16:9 image. I'm going to take these last three out. I'm going to hit render. You'll actually see it render now, just because it's a little bit bigger. Takes a little bit longer. And when I say takes a little bit longer, that's the end of it. I am saving this as a compressed TIFF. The compressed TIFFs are not, you know, not as big as a regular TIFF, but I'm going to see how big of a file this is for people. It's taking, you know, it's taken a little while. Come on. Did it put it? I don't know why it's saving it, but it's putting it. It's not putting it. Here it is, 8:39 a.m. So here it is. So it's a 69 megabyte file shooting raw on an iPhone and then exporting it as a compressed TIFF. So you can get some pretty good resolution out of it. And I'm opening this right now in GIMP, hopefully. And there's the, quote unquote finished photo, and you can, you can zoom in and you can see how, this is with an iPhone. To me, that's just incredible that how good this is with an iPhone. I mean, look at these are the cars that were in the background, and you can see just how, how sharp everything is. Look at the horns on top. So it's, you can see the dust on the nose right here. So that's 400%. This is 800%. So now you're starting to see a little bit of pixelation there. Not, not fantastic, but this is 800% zoomed in, focus stacked image using just an iPhone. Yeah, exactly. I've got all these photos where you can like see the dust and stuff on the top, and it's like, oh no, like what's happening there? But yeah, so Camera Pixels app. I'm gonna try and get this on the camera, and at some point start taking some pictures with that instead of with the iPhone, and see what I can make happen with it. Unfortunately, I don't have scenery yet, and I do think, if you look at, you look at this article, if you get the latest Railroad Model Craftsman, and you look at the photos in here, you can really see how good a good background makes things. So it's pretty incredible. And Split Rock says photos like these will help improve your modeling, and it does, because you get in there close and make it happen. I haven't bought into the 360 camera thing yet, but Dennis says he discovered spider webs on his layout when he did this and had to reshoot several photos. When you first said that, I thought you were talking about a program that you had found called spider webs, and once you found the program, you were like, oh, I'm gonna reshoot things. I didn't realize that what you were saying was that. Derek's correct. Once you start in model railroading, they call it rivet counting. In photography, they call it pixel peeping. And pixel peeping is essentially what I was doing, where you go to an image like this, and you scroll in at 800% and you go, oh, like, look at that. That's not sharp. That's not good enough. And it's like, yeah, but nobody looks at photos that close. Like you're never gonna see it. So there are rivet counters in select, none. There are rivet counters in photography, just like there are rivet counters in everything else as well. So yeah, it's a process. I'm enjoying this. I'm having a good time, and I'll keep at it, see where it goes. Who knows what's next? But from the city that never sleeps, farewell, model citizens.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about